Hello everybody, welcome to the class. I just wanted to go, this is Professor Moore, and I just wanted to go over this first packet tracer assignment with everybody. The commands can be a little bit confusing sometimes, and I just wanted to make sure everybody has a full understanding of how to use packet tracer so that you can best get the understanding out of this course. I don't want people to get frustrated and then want to quit because they cannot get a simple command. These are some of the simple commands that you will be using throughout the course. So you're going to have to learn to research and find the other commands in the readings to get them to get the configuration right points for the assignments. So my suggestion would be as you learn new commands, write them down. Make sure you have maybe a cheat sheet of your own off to the side so that you remember these commands. So when you open your first assignment, you're of course going to have to put in your name, right? And put in your email. And what this does is this allows me to identify that it is your packet tracer and that you didn't share it with somebody else, you didn't copy it over. So, okay, and so with packet tracer here we have two windows. We have the actual window with the topology, and then we have an activity window, which sometimes will provide configurations, but mostly what it will do is it provides assessments. And so this one, it shows us that there is 60 items that need to be configured. And if you were to count all of these down, all the way down through here, this is actually 60 different configurations that need to be configured on the devices. So you can constantly go back to this and look at your progress, and we will as we go through this. I'll go back to the assessment and see where we are, just to make sure we're getting things configured, because sometimes you may think you applied it correctly and then you go back to the assessment and something might be missing. So let's check out this first assignment. We're going to minimize this. We have what do we have? We have two PCs, we have two switches, and we have two routers here. And I think each student must enter their name, email address. We already went through that. The PT profile. Do not select the cancel button. Complete the user profile before attempting this activity, otherwise you may accidentally reset your activity. If you do not complete your user profile, you will receive a grade of 0 and no second chances. I'm not that strict on that. Remember, when you open the PT file, it may be minimized down on your bottom bar. So in order to bring up the activity, it may be down here. Please read the online curriculum chapter 2 at netacad.com before completing the online packet tracer activities before attempting this assignment. So here's our given topology: two PCs, two switches, two routers. Here's our addressing table for everything. So all these packet tracers will give you the configurations needed. You're going to have to put the information together. So here's the scenario. As the network administrator, you have been assigned a task from the help desk ticketing system. You must complete basic switch configuration at two sites. Once complete, the senior network engineer has requested that connectivity is tested before closing the ticket. Otherwise, the configuration of switch and switchware. Complete the configuration of switch 1 and switch 0 and switch 1, and the PCs router 0 and router 1 are already installed and configured properly. Required, we have the file that you downloaded, and then the PKA file, which includes the instructions as well. So first off, let's see, connect PC 0 to switch 0 using a console cable. Alright, easy enough. So there's a couple ways to connect to network devices. You can SSH to them, you can telnet to them. Those are both over the network and must have pre-configured IPs to connect. Now if you get a new device with no configurations on it already, well, how do you configure it? Well, there's a special console cable that you will have, and you must connect this console cable from your PC to the console port of the device. They used to look like little serial cables. They had a little like a 10-pin serial connection. Most of the time now they're just USB, so there'll be USB to USB micro or something like that. So it's just going to be a direct connect from your PC to the device. Let's scroll down. Establish a terminal connection, terminal session using console connection to access each switch. Be sure to use the correct port configurations. Alright, review curriculum 223 as a reminder. Alright, so let's go into our PC here and let's go to desktop. Let's go to terminal. We see this is wrong. Right? It's not 1200. For standard device it's going to be 9600. And just think 8 in 1. So 9600, 8 in 1. Click OK, and then we have a connection to our switch. We have PC 0 is connected to the switch, so don't get this wrong. Don't get this mixed up. PC 1, desktop, terminal, 9600, 8 in 1. Okay, and then we're connected to the second switch. So we have two connections here. All right, we have two PCs, and each one's connected to its own switch. So let's see, establish a terminal connection. We did that. Requirements. Some commands have been relocated to other chapters, therefore I have added the commands to the applicable lines instruction. So let's see, name the switches switch 0 and switch 1 per the addressing table on page 2. Yep, so switch 0, switch 1. Alright, we're on PC 0 here, so it's the first thing we have to do. We have to get into enable mode, right? And then we'll go into config T, and what is the command? Hostname switch 0, and you can see it has changed. You can see that it has actually changed name immediately, so it went from switch to switch 0. We could do the same thing over here on switch 1, go into enable mode, then we need to go into configuration mode, config T, hostname switch 1. Okay, and what I'll do now is I will pull up the results so we can check assessments. So you can do this as you're moving along, and you can check your progress, and you can check whether you've got a command correct or incorrect. So we have a total of 60 items to do. We just did 2 of them, and then you can scroll down here and see exactly what we did. We did the host name of switch 0, and then we did the host name of switch 1. So let's telnet lines, use this password for the privilege secret password. Okay, so let's open up our terminals again. PC or switch 0, switch 1, and we're making the connections, we're making the commands, the same commands basically on both of the switches, so it is a little redundant. So let's go to enable secret. What was the password? C9WRE. Case counts, so you make sure it's case sensitive, and if you don't get an error, that means that the switch took the command. Enable secret C9WRE, right? And then now we go to the console. We need to go into line console configuration, which is line con 0, password 8UBR Enter. Right, so it looks like it took it. Line con 0. Password 8U BRU. Enter. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Now we're going to exit one line back, one config line back. Exit. Now we're going to go into the virtual terminal telnet lines. There's 15 of them, but we're only going to be configuring 5 of them. Line BTY 04. Enter. Password 8U BRU. Enter. We'll go to switch 1. Line BTY 04. Password 8U BRU. Right? And let's go back and check our activity to see where we are. Assessment. So enable secret, host name, switch 0. Password's good. I'll go back and go over this real quick. Password's good. Host name, enable secret, password. So in order to use LineCon, what you must do is issue the enable command. So since we're in LineCon already and we're already in the 0 through 4 interface, we want to type in login. If we want to disable the logins, we could just no login. But we do want login because that is what the assignment is looking for. Login. We could close this out, check results again, and that was on the VTY. As you can see here, the VTY lines login was set, but we want to do it on the line cons too. Login was set on the VTY lines, so we're going to want to set it on line con as well. Exit back, line con 0, login. Exit back one, line con 0, login. We're good there. So step 3 is done. Now we'll go global mode only. I'm reading this right here. Global mode only. Add the command to prevent unwanted domain name system lookups. This is found on PowerPoint slide 41. Believe this is just done from regular config T. Let's go back, config T, no IP domain lookup. If you see what I'm doing here, sometimes I'm tabbing when I get halfway through a command, because if it's unique, it will automatically autofill. So if I do no IP domain, right? Oh, I gotta get back. Hang on a second. IT. No IP domain. Put a question mark. Well, you could go domain name, domain lookup. If I do -L tab, L is unique. There's no other command with domain -L in it. So it will automatically fill that command in. No IP domain lookup. So we got the no IP domain lookup. For both line modes, console and telnet, add the command so lookups, debug, and other messages will not mess up the screen when inputting commands. As you're inputting commands, sometimes debug information and stuff can come over, and it takes you off of your command prompt, right? Because it's just feeding information. Well, this command logging synchronous allows the commands to come across, allows the the debug input commands to come across, but it keeps you on your command line so you don't get thrown off, especially if you're in the middle of typing through a command. So we'll go back into line con 0, and you have to do this for each one. Logging, we'll do this again. So logging synchronous is the only thing available, right? So if we just type S tab, it'll automatically fill. Exit, let's go to line VTY04 LOGGING, logging S tab, we're good there. Come over to switch 1, line con 0, logging synchronous, enter there, exit back, line VTY04 logging S, logging synchronous, there we go. We can come back here. Let's go look at our assessment real quick. Assessment items, and now you can see there's our no IP domain lookup, logging synchronous, passwords, host name. You can see now under VTY lines it's all green. Under VTY lines it's all green. And under console lines all green. So we're looking pretty good. We're 42 of 60 right now. We're only 15 minutes in. So let's go back to our consoles. What's our next step here? Logging synchronous, encrypt all clear text passwords. So what was that command? So as it sits right now, if I were to do a show run, you can see the passwords here for LineCon and your VTY, right? We did enable secret, so that's already encrypted. So how do we make sure that these are encrypted? They're passwords. We need them encrypted in the show run. So that command is service password encryption. Service password encryption. Janelle. Okay. Easy enough. What was that command? Banner. MOTD. Now you need a separator, a delineator. So, and I think it's asking for C. I may be thinking of something else, but I'll use C. Authorized access only by personnel. Right? Here's where it gets tricky. Right? These are simulations, and while if I were to do this, it's technically correct. Right? Right, because I can scroll down and you can see banner message of the day, authorized access only by required personnel. Technically that's correct. You have set the MOTD and you set it to what it asks for, but they're very finicky. This is not correct. So if you close this and I go look at switch 0, see the banner is not saying it's not selected correctly, or it's not configured correctly. So it's looking for a specific string, and if you don't have that specific string in there, it is then incorrect. So we'll go back to config T and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'll copy this, authorized access, copy. Oh. Alright, what's wrong with this? I'll go ahead and set it up over here. So if you look at the directions here, this is where it gets kind of finicky. Authorized access only by required personnel, period. So simulations, yeah, I know it's finicky, but that is the issue there. So when you're using these packet tracers, make sure capitalization's correct, make sure spacing's correct. If there's a hyphen, put a hyphen. It's very precise. So both of those, at this point, both of those should now show up as, we see now good banners. Banners on switch 0, banner on switch 1. Very good. So, where are we at? Message of the day. Configure addressing for all devices, PC switches, according to the table. Alright. So we're going to go according to this table here. We're going to configure everything. So let's see, PC 0, we're going to go to we're going to go to desktop. PC 0, we're going to go to desktop. We're going to close our terminal connection. We're going to open up IP configuration. Now we're going to set the IP. Now this is how devices talk over the network. This is layer 3. We'll learn a little bit more about that later on. So this tells it go to this address to get out of this network. And I don't see any DNS servers on here, so we're just going to go with that. Close that out. Let's go to PC1. We'll close the terminal, and then we're going to go to IP configuration for PC1. 22.168.20.2, 255.255.255.0, default gateway 192.168.20.1. As you can see, they are on different networks. See, they're on different networks, and it shows it here as well. This is 10.1, or it would be 10.0 would be the network. We'll learn about that later. And the PC1 is 20.1. Different networks. And configure switches. So we'll have to open our consoles back up. So we'll close out the IP configuration, go back to terminal. 96.8.1, we're still good there. So PC 0 to switch 0. So management is always going to be on VLAN 1. You cannot delete VLAN 1 from the device. You can shut it down, but you cannot delete it, and it's often used for management. So we have to get into the configuration line for the VLAN 1. So we have to go to the interface mode. Interface VLAN 1. IP add. And this is where I'm looking right here. Since it's VLAN switch 0, VLAN 1, I'm using these set of IP addresses. 192.168.10.254, 255.255.255.0. Alright, and switches, all ports are down by default. You have to issue a no shut command to bring that virtual LAN online. And I will do the same thing to PC1. We'll close this one out. Terminal. Okay. I'm going to do INT. VLAN 1. IP add 192.168.20.254. 255. No shut. That brings that virtual LAN online. So what else did we have here? I think it was saying IP default gateway. So addressing on the switches, use the following command to add the gateway address. Again, PowerPoint slide 55, switch IP default gateway, and then the address of the default gateway. So if we scroll back up, the switches default gateways here, these last two, 10.1 and 20.1. So we'll come here, we're going to get out of interface mode. IP default gateway 192.168.10.1, and then on switch 1, IP default gateway 192.168.20.1. We're moving along. So, and we got our PCs, so we did that. So we did the switches, we did our PCs. On the PCs, the gateway address is the default gateway field. Save your configs using the appropriate command. Do not forget to view the activity wizard for your results. Let's see what we got here. So what do we do when we save? Well, we have to exit out of config mode. And so I like to think of it this way. What are we going to do? We're going to copy, right? So this is a running config. This is running in memory right now. This is not stored anyway. If you were to lose power to this switch, everything you've put in would be gone. So it's running in memory. So that's the running config. So we want to copy running config, right? Where do we want to copy it to? Startup config. Right, so when a switch or router boots up, what it does is it looks for a startup config file. If it has a startup config file, it will import those configs into the switch and use that. If there is no startup config, it's just going to go with defaults, which is nothing there. So you can actually have things running, and these will be live changes that will change the switch as it's running, but it doesn't save it until you do a copy run start. So I did a copy run start here. Yep, and you'll see I'll use shorthand here, copy run start. So we don't have to type it all the way out because it is unique. So let's go and let's look at our results now. We'll open up our packet tracer results, access assessment items, and we are, look at that, 60 of 60. We have all greens. And there we go. So let's see what we got on the bottom here. Save your configurations using the appropriate iOS commands. Do not forget to view your wizard results. We did that. Verify connectivity between all devices using the ping command. Complete the table below. So let's see if we can ping across everything now. So let's get on to PC1, config PC0, go to desktop, close the terminal, and I'm going to go to the command prompt here. So I'm going to try to ping all the way across. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to ping I don't think I have IPs to ping that anyway. So let's do ping, let's ping. So I'm pinging from PC0 to switch 0 right now. Ping. What is the IP of switch 0? I'm going to scroll back up and get this IP. 192.168.10.254. So you'll see a lot of times this first ping will time out because it's doing an ARP request. If we were to ping it again, we should get 4 successful. Perfect. Now let's ping from PC0 to switch 1, which is ping 192.168.10.2. 10.254. 20.254. What am I talking about? Oh, right there it goes. So we got two that have timed out because of the ARP request. We hit it again, and we should get 4 successful. And then now let's ping from PC0 to PC1. PC1's IP is 192.168.20.2. We got connectivity. Now we've pinged that way. Let's ping the opposite way. PC1. Let's go to PC1. We'll close out of the terminal. Go to command prompt. Just because you can ping one way does not mean you can ping the other way. So in ping, all it does is means that hey, I have communication. I have layer 3 connectivity. I can see you. I can talk to you. I can bounce off of you. It's just sending a hey, are you there? And it's sending a request back. It's often called echo request, echo reply. So we're on PC1 now. Let's ping switch 1. Switch 1's IP is 192.168.20.254. And we're good there. Let's ping switch 0, 10.254. Perfect. We got some timeouts, but then after the ARP request, we have 4 successful pings. Now we'll go 10. We're going from PC1 to PC0, 10.2. And there we go. We have a reply all the way across. So we have full connectivity all the way across. I really just wanted to make this video to help you guys get started. I'm not going to answer any of these questions further, but I hope you enjoy the class. I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, please do put them into the discussion board so that myself or another student can help you out. Thank you very much.